Hey there. Today I'm talking about allowing your invisible helpers, your spirit guides, your allies, your angels, your power animals, all of the above. It's about allowing them to support you and help you. And I have to say that when it comes to allowing help in, we aren't always good at doing that. And we also are pretty attached to what the help should look like. And we can get more attached to what it should look like when we are working through a healing process. And when I'm talking about healing process, I am referring not just to physical healing, but to emotional healing as well. We often think that we know what needs to happen. And I want to invite you, at least for this little while, to break up with, even if it's just temporary, break up with what you think you know about your own healing process. I want you to take a break from what you think is supposed to happen. Because often, when we want to make something happen, or specifically when we want to encourage a healing process, or even a learning process actually, we make it much more complicated than it needs to be. We have an entire industry that sometimes makes it more complicated than it needs to be. Now, if you've been around me for a while, you know that I am a fan of allowing things to be easy. And this exercise that I'm going to share with you today is one of those where you need to allow it to be easy. And that sounds easy, but there is often struggle in allowing it to be easy. It often gets complicated when we even think about how something could be easy. But I want you to think about it. And as I'm talking about complicated, I'm thinking about healing and how when we are healing from something, we often do a couple of things. Now, this is particular to folks who are on a holistic or a natural healing path. Folks like you who are consciously involved in your healing process. So a couple of things that are pretty common that I know that you do is look for an emotional cause or causation for your problem. Looking for what feelings are stuck, looking for what you're not expressing, and looking for an emotional root to your physical problem. We get pretty invested in trying to figure out if that left hip issue has to do with an argument that we had with our spouse or our kid. We get really invested in that, and then we try to decipher, we try to figure out how to trace it back to where it began. That's one of the things that we do that I just want to recognize that you do and that we do, and see it right now as something that you actually don't need to do. Anything that you get in a struggle with, that you find yourself really looking for, trying to figure out, you're getting too caught up and too hooked in to your perception of what you need to do to heal or change something. Another thing that we do is we really look for the root of the problem. Now, there's nothing wrong with looking for the root to the problem. Oftentimes we need to find some sort of a root or somewhere something began because it's helpful in the diagnostic. And at the same time, we get obsessed with finding the root to the problem. So the problem isn't so much finding the root, it's how obsessed we get about finding the root to the problem. You actually don't need to find the root of the problem in order to heal it. I'm not saying it's not helpful. I'm not saying we should stop altogether looking for the root of the problem. What I'm saying is this is one of those things we get hooked in to, and we don't need to, and actually sometimes it can impede or get in the way of a healing process. The third thing, and I just want to say there are many things that we do that we need that aren't so helpful, that complicate a healing process. I'm just mentioning 3 so you have an idea of what I'm asking you to unhinge from or break up with. We get quasi-obsessed with releasing. We feel like we need to release the old wounds. We feel like we need to release the pain. We feel like we need to release the feelings, release the tears. We get pretty jazzed up about this releasing thing. And I want to invite you to know that you don't have to do it that way. That isn't always what's going to be helpful. And if you find yourself sort of in an obsessive place about releasing, I want you to stop and break up with that, at least for right now. Like I said before, it doesn't have to be hard. Healing doesn't have to be hard. And we can allow it to be easy. But we need to stop micromanaging it. We need to stop, take a break from having to find what emotion is attached to this physical pain, having to do an affirmation that is going to release this pain or put us in a different place, having to find the root of something. All of those things, when we get locked into them and we just keep kind of going around the rotary looking for those things, we are tripped up and we are not allowing it to be easy. And I'm saying all this, sharing all this with you, because when it comes to working with your allies, your spirit helpers, your angels, the whole group of them, they work on a different frequency than we do up here. They work on a frequency where everything is possible. And sometimes I think that they're out there saying, oh gosh, can't they just ask for help? Why do they have to have the help come in the form of releasing? Why do they have to have the help come in the form of finding the root? Why can't they just ask for help and let us do it? So that is what we're going to do. We are going to work on a different frequency by stepping out of the way and giving it to our allies. And this may seem strange because you're used to managing it, figuring it out, making it happen, doing the thing. It doesn't have to be that way. Because the allies work on a different frequency than we do, it takes less time, and healing can happen in a different way. Our job is to ask for help, to receive help, to make space to receive help, to observe, and to listen. And I'll say that again because I think it's important. Our job is to ask for help, to receive help, to make space in your life, in your day, to receive help, to observe, and to listen. So what I want you to do this week's practice or this month's practice or this practice that you can take and do for the rest of your life is I want you to start out by setting 2 dates for yourself. Maybe it's today at 2 o'clock and a couple days from now at 3 o'clock. Set 2 dates and 2 times for yourself. I want you to go to your place where you sit quietly and talk to Spirit. Open up your space in whatever way feels good to you. Light a little incense. Sit for 3 to 5 minutes, breathe, whatever you typically do. And then I want you to put yourself mentally and emotionally into the place where you go to talk to Spirit. That may be that you do a journey. That may be that you do a guided meditation. It may be that you just do 10 minutes of your breathing that you do. Or it may be that you have a mantra that you do. Whatever you do, and if you don't have something, if you don't have a place to meet spirit yet, I'll include a guided meditation that takes you to a place where you can create a place in the invisible worlds to meet spirit. Go there, and then once you're there, I want you to ask for one of the following. You choose. And it doesn't have to be this. These are just some ideas. Ask for clearing of your body and your mind, or if there's a specific thing you're working on, a pain in your stomach, an issue with an old friend, ask for your allies to clear it. You can ask for wholeness in your body and your mind. You can ask for an activation of healing, an activation of light, an activation of movement, an activation of some sort, or a restructuring of my heart, a restructuring of my foot, a restructuring of my thoughts around my job. Those 4 things, choose from and apply it to your situation. A clearing, wholeness, activation, or restructuring. Then drop in, relax, and receive. Allow the allies to do the work for you. Now what this means is you're not consciously doing anything. You are observing and being aware of what's happening in your mind, your body, and your heart, but you're not doing anything. You're observing. Spend about 10 minutes longer if you'd like doing that. Then come back and take notes. And then follow up on the next date that you wrote down and do the same thing. So here are the steps. You're going to set 2 dates for yourself. You're going to go to the sacred space where you sit to talk to spirit. You're going to open up the space in the way that you do. Keep it simple. Then you're going to go to the space in your mind, in your heart, where you meet spirit. Through a guided meditation, a visualization, a journey. Go there. I'll include something to use if you don't have a process yet. Once you get there, say hello to your guides and state your intention to ask for one of 4 things in regards to something you're working on. Clearing, wholeness, activating, or restructuring. One of those 4 things, not all. And then drop in, pay attention, allow, and receive. Spend about 10 minutes, more if you can, and then take notes, follow up, and do the same thing a second time. You're going to be surprised at what you notice. After you've done the first practice, come on over to the group. Let me know what came up, what you saw, felt, heard, and experienced. And I will be happy to give you feedback, comment, and answer questions. Okay, you've got it now. We are allowing Spirit and our helpers to help us, to heal us, and to work for us instead of us managing it ourselves. I'll see you soon.